Hello, 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 my awesome family. How are you doing? This is Dayle, the host of the Awesome Music Show, and I'm delighted to join for part two of this wonderful, wonderful, wonderful interview with our brother and friend Marq Johnson. We're going to be going into the interview in a few, but we're giving you some time to join and to share the link as well as we listen to some background music in the few minutes or a couple more minutes before we go into the interview. How you doing wherever you are? We hope that you are doing good. Hey, hey. All right, Johnson, 7292, K.A. Johnson, 7292, join. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right. So we're going to be going into the interview very soon, but as usual, it's another awesome day given to us by an awesome God to do some awesome things. That's our awesome tagline. And every day above ground is a good day. It doesn't matter what you're going through, what you're facing, the moment you're alive. Even if you're in the hospital right now with tubes all over your body, you're still alive. It's still a good day. And that's just the awesome thing that we're doing. So be blessed right now as we await this awesome, awesome interview. Be blessed. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So share the link with your family and your friends so that they can know that hey, the awesome music show is live one more time. It's a Saturday night, not the usual night that we go live, but guess what? We run the show, so we do whatever God allows us to do with the time that He has given us. All right? Blessings, blessings, blessings. So whenever you join, just type in the chat where you're joining from so that we will know we can give you special greetings. We can big you up just the same as you encourage and as you share in the Awesome Music Show. It's really, really a good day. And we thank you so much. We're going to be having a wonderful time on the show tonight because we know that this is the month that we celebrate men, we celebrate fathers coming up on June 19th, Sunday, June 19th, with Father's Day. And we know it's always been said that women are more celebrated in May for Mother's Day, and the men are always, it's like just a mediocre thing. So we want to put some emphasis on men for the month of June. And the theme for the show for the month of June is the man, the vision on a mission. And trust me, we are going to be going into serious stuff tonight. We want you to be a part of it. All right. So as we prepare to go live and to start this interview, just bear with us, and we thank you so much for joining. Wherever you're joining from, we appreciate you joining. So be blessed. Be blessed. So in some parts of the world, it's early morning, and in some parts, it's in the night, and other parts, trust me, they're already seeing sunlight, and that's just the awesome God we serve. That could not be the act of man; that would only be the act of God. So we're really excited to have this show tonight and to share in this wonderful platform with you, with our brother and friend. So right now we are getting ready to welcome to the Awesome Music Show. Not the first, not the second. I believe this is his third appearance. And my guest on the Awesome Music Show tonight, he is a singer, he's a songwriter, he is a producer, he is also a pianist, consider him a musician. And more than all, he's also the host of a show. It's the name of the show is Cross Talk, and really, really wonderful show. I'm speaking of no other than my friend and brother, Minister Mark Johnson. My brother, how are you doing? Thank you so much for being a part of the awesome tonight. How are you doing?
I'm great, man. I'm great. Thank you so much for having me again.
Yes, 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 definitely, definitely, definitely. Yeah, it's really a pleasure because guess what? In the month of June, so much is happening, and what we try to do on the show is to connect themes for each month. And in the month of May, we were dealing with the theme uh passing on a godly heritage, and that was the theme for Child's Month. And in this month, we're really dealing with men having that vision and running with that vision, because we know if we have a nation of men who has no purpose, they have no vision, then what are they going to be passing on to children? They're going to be passing on the same thing. The children are going to be left without someone who they can emulate. So we're going into some of that tonight. But for those who possibly did not get to hear a little bit of your story last week, we're just going to be touching on a little bit of that. Your early start in the music industry. You talked about going to the studio with your group and all that transpired, and how you started your own solo career. So you could just tell us a little bit about that, and then we'll go into the other topic for the month of June, and then we're going to be discussing about men taking their rightful place in the society, because whether you know it or not, a lot of men are running away from their responsibilities, not just in Jamaica or the US, or in Canada, other places around the world. So we're going to be touching some more of that. So go into some of the details about your early start in the music and what you're doing now as a musician to really blaze the trail for God. Tell us about that.
Sure, sure. Thank you for your question. So my musical journey really started when I was 7 years old. I began my journey in formal training in classical piano. My
Yes.
parents told me that when I started it, I actually hated it. But
Yeah.
shortly after, I fell in love with the instrument, developed a passion, and when it was exam time, because I was doing a program with the Associated Board of the Royal School of Music, and so
Yes.
we had exams to do, practical and theory, and I was like the distinction baby in the class. Every time Mark goes to an exam, he's coming back with a distinction. So humbly, I kind of topped
Congrats.
the class, you know. And I think that was really born out of that growing passion for music as I developed, as I discovered more of it. I fell in love with it, and I just kept practicing and just got better and better and better. And I remember sometimes when I'm practicing for exam and my teacher's not looking, I would start playing the classical music in the reggae, and I'd
Yeah.
hear her from the distance say, "Mark, practice it properly." So it's like I realized that from then there was this arranger, there was this songwriter inside of me, there was this little producer inside of me from as early as by that time, by the time I started exams, it would have been probably I was be about probably age 10, probably
Hmm.
8, 9, 10, probably about, yeah, 9, 10. And so I'll be doing that. And shortly after that, because I was born and raised in the church, so I was
Yes.
a member of the Sunday school choir, became the director of the Sunday school choir. Eventually, I also became the director of the youth choir of my church. And shortly after that, I became the director of the corporate era choir, which is, all the churches within the corporate era came together to
Yes.
form a massive choir. And then after that, I became the choir director for the national chorale in my denomination. So, my skill was growing. I was honing it, I was developing it, and falling deeper and deeper in love with music. So by this time, a bunch of us musicians would always play together at conventions and crusades and for these various choirs that I work with. And it reached a point. This was 2011, where we decided, say, boy, we've been talking for 10 years now about traveling the world with music and being a recording band and inspiring people across the world with our music. And we've been just talking, talking, talking. So we decided, say, you know what, is that how we do this thing? I would just go call it a day and just stop the chatting.
Yeah.
So of course, our passion could not allow us to just stop music. So we decided to form the band. And so
Yes.
in January 2012, we formed the band, and we started writing, rehearsing. Well, I shouldn't have started writing because I was writing. I've been writing from as early as my childhood days, through my teenage years, as always. At that time, I used to write poems though, and like for special events, I'd probably change the lyrics of a song into some gospel lyrics and I would perform them. So I was always writing for a long time. So by this time now, my writing skills had improved and we started writing together. So I remember the first time we went into studio in a Dayle.
Yeah.
I mean, we're excited. I was a lead singer at the time, excited man. And because, I was choir director all this time, I mean, for me, singing is a breeze. Well, so I
Yeah.
thought, because choir singing and singing as a recording artist is two different worlds.
Yes.
So
Yes.
after we did the first session, man, the producer looked, we were all in the studio together, myself, the band leader, all the musicians, background vocals, everything. And in front of everybody, the producer said to the band leader, you need a lead vocalist because Mark, I forgot back to the piano because lead vocalists are born, they're not made.
My God, my God, my God.
Was crushed. I was devastated. But the thing is, the other half of me remembered that vision that I used to always have as a little child growing up. I used to always see myself on a massive stage. And let me describe it for you. I used to always see myself on it's like a music festival stage because it's massive,
Yes.
massive. As a child, I never knew any stage that size. So it was very
Yes.
interesting that image in my mind. And I was on stage with a microphone in front of me like this, and I had a guitar strung around me, and it was a massive international audience in front of me as far as my eyes could see. And I used to
Yes.
always have that picture in my mind. So when the producer said that, half of me was crushed, but the other half remember that vision. Dayle, right away, I signed up for vocal training. I used to
Yes.
go to drum class every Monday, every
Yeah.
Wednesday, two different trainers. Even when I couldn't even afford the fee, I would struggle to go. That was
Yes.
2014. That's a summer of 2014. The producer told us that because we were writing and rehearsing from 2012 right up to that point. So when he told me that, I went for vocal training, and in 2015 summer, that's the following year, I released my first. Oh, by this time too, I started moving very fast in terms of growing in terms of my musical pursuits, and so
Yeah.
myself and the band, we decided that it is because we're traveling at different speeds. It's best I go solo, rather than wait until we clash and lose friendship and so on. So we
Right.
amicably agreed for me to go solo, and I went solo. And in the following year summer, I released my first song, my first single, entitled Pulse Get Weak, in Cayman, Trinidad, and Jamaica.
Wow.
One year
Wow.
after that, yeah man, 1 year after that, in 2016, I was nominated, not nominated, I was awarded Best New Artist of the Year by a New York radio station. That's
Good.
2016. In 2017, I was Voters' Choice winner on a New York, not New York, a London chart, some UK chart, some Voters' Choice thing, right? I was the first Christian artist to ever be on that chart. In
That's it.
2018, I was breakthrough sensation for the Sterling Gospel Music Awards here in Jamaica. Now, why am I
Yeah.
saying all of this? I'm not trying to show off. I'm just making the point that when God puts something in your mind, when God plants a seed in your heart, when you have a vision, when you are clear on the direction of your purpose, then it no matter who want come and said this and said that, you will know what God put inside and you pursue that. If I had believed what that lead producer had said, you and I would not even be having this interview right now.
Yeah. You'll be
You
crushed.
understand? Exactly. And I would just remain in the shadows. And it's very important. That is why, as an artist, my core message as an artist is wrapped around two words: identity and purpose. Identity, because I struggled with low self-esteem for 38 plus years. It was when I was almost 39 that I got delivered from that. And
Yes.
since then, my life changed, and so much so that my entire brand as an artist is Imago Dei, which is a Latin for image of God. You know what I mean? So It's
Yes.
very important for us to know our purpose and to pursue it, man. Trust me.
Yes, yes, that's awesome. That's awesome. Want to thank Ka Johnson 7292 for joining. I think she's that person is actually now on YouTube. Also, Yannick, thank you so much for joining. That's Old Harbor New Testament Church representing. I want to say big up to every member of the Old Harbor New Testament Church. Thank you for your support as well, and thank you for being a part of the Awesome Music Show. So we're live on YouTube on DLT Music. That's the channel. Also on Facebook. DLT Music. So you can find us if you want to see the full video of the interview. All right. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. So we're talking to Minister Marq Johnson. He's a recording artist. He's the host of the talk show Crosstalk on YouTube. He's a producer. He's a singer-songwriter, and he's telling us of his wonderful story, which is really so good. So, two questions I have for you while you were talking. I actually remembered it from last week. Do you play any other instrument apart from the piano? Because I know a lot of musicians, we start off with one instrument and we just automatically end up playing other instruments. And the second question, how many of your songs that you've recorded have you actually played in? Because I know a lot of musicians, they can play, but they just don't become a part of the creative process in terms of playing. So tell us about those two experiences.
Well, firstly, let me answer your first question. I am amazingly proficient on the guitar with my mind.
I was waiting on the last part, you know. You threw me off.
Look here. I believe the day like the guitar is is the most beautiful instrument on the planet.
Yes, yes, yes.
I have a guitar. I fooled around with it, but far from
Yes,
being proficient. I'd love to be. I just
yes.
need to probably discipline myself and practice. Probably need to land in some class or something. But I fool around with the guitar. But I would say I only play one instrument right now. Well, they said the voice is an instrument, so that would be two: piano and
Two.
voice.
Yes, yes, yes. That's
Um,
two.
the second question is interesting because for the first time, it was last year that I actually played in one of my recordings, and that song is not yet released. We have some more work to do on it, but yeah, last year I decided that I want to play in one of my songs. I'm not sure if I'm going
Yeah,
to do it again, at least
yeah,
one, and then so I have, yeah.
yeah. Because I've met a lot of musicians who I don't know if maybe at the point where we go into the studio, we just don't remember that we play or anything, but we just allow people to do everything and we just sing, you know. So it was just interesting to listen to find out if
Listen,
you.
my rationale is a little different.
Yeah.
The reason why I don't play is because there is there is power in variety,
Mhm.
and so what I try to do is to surround myself with people who are very proficient at what they do. I play the piano, but I wouldn't consider myself proficient, and proficient is highly subjective. Probably I'm marking myself hard. I don't know.
Mhm.
But that this particular song though, I definitely wanted to play in it because I wanted a particular sound that came from me, and I know
Definitely.
that it's going to be difficult for anybody to capture that exact thing that I want. And I was
Right.
very particular in
From the
getting
inside.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So that's why.
Yeah, so that's good. That's good. Looking forward to release of that track as well, and also the others that we'll be talking later in the show as well about a song that you're going to be releasing in on Father's Day, and that's really good, and we really love that. So you have been going to some schools on various tours. Also, I think I met you through the Jamaica Youth for Christ. Tell us about some of your work in the communities and some of your work throughout the schools, because that's really a kind of niche. I shouldn't even call it niche, a ministry that a lot of artists don't do because maybe it's too challenging. I'm not sure if they don't see it as this big harvest of souls where you can go into these schools. If you can get even 10 minutes before these students start their day in the school and point them in a direction to God. I consider that very powerful. It's something I used to enjoy doing. So tell us about your work as an artist, as a minister in these schools, and particularly also with the Jamaica Youth for Christ.
So, everything I do, Dale, is anchored to purpose. I
Yeah.
take purpose very seriously. It's the reason why I live, move, and breathe. And I don't say that lightly. I mean, I try my very, very best to ensure that whatever pursuit, whatever endeavor, all my intentions, my motives, my resources, my efforts, my skills, talents, expertise, whatever it is that I carry, that the activities surrounding them are carrying me closer and closer to the fulfillment of God's purpose for my life. And so from I think I'm wired to protect. From as early as a little boy, I always felt responsible for the people around me. I remember
Yes.
vividly, there's this little boy who never had lunch, and I would always share my lunch with him. And I just felt like I was his big brother. I just kind of adopted this little youth. And because of that, I tend to feel personally responsible for the next generation,
Yes.
especially because I struggled with low self-esteem. I struggled with addictions. I struggled with all kinds of issues growing up. Where I am now, having overcome them by the grace of God, I feel personally responsible to do something to make a change, to not only to make a difference, but to be a difference to the next generation. And so I
Mhm.
remember my wife and I, we, out of our own pocket, we did a school tour, our very first school tour in 2016, 2017. And we went to a number of schools across the island, impacted tens of thousands of students. The following year, 2018, was the birth of Imago Day, my brand.
Yeah.
And we did the Imago Day school tour. That was awesome. The song Imago Day shifted my ministry. And I
Hmm.
shouldn't, that's not an accurate statement. In 2017, in the last quarter of 2017, was when I was introduced to the term Imago Day. That's a very quick story. So I used to meet with my pastor like once every 6 months to update him on what's happening in my life, in my marriage, in ministry, what God has in my heart, where I'm going, and blah, blah, blah. So I was telling him about the school tour that we have planning, and at the time, the Lord told me to call it ID Tour. So I was telling him
Hmm.
about it, in the schools and help children, understand their identity. ID, short for identity.
Yeah.
And then he
Yes.
said, okay, you want to help them with their understanding that they're creating an image and likeness of God. He says, okay. He says, well, the Latin for that is Imago Dei. Dale, the light went on in the room because when he said Imago Dei, I realized, oh, that's what God meant by ID tour, Imago
Yeah.
Dei tour. Yeah,
Still ID.
And so, and so right away, I had a logo concept in mind. I checked my graphic artist. We got it done. I
Mhm.
wrote the song and we started the school tour. The song Imago Day was a theme song for the Imago Day tour. And
Yeah.
that was kind of, in a small way, in a small viral way, it
Mhm.
grew, it blossomed. So much
Yes.
so that people on the road and call me Imago Day. It's like people forget some of their Mark Johnson. It's Imago Day, them call it, right?
Yeah.
Even my
Yes.
friends are calling me Imago Day.
That's
And
a good
and
name.
so I don't mind the name. I mean, image of God, right? And so
Yes.
we have been going to schools, and even from that, there are many other organizations, many other churches, many other ministries. When they're going on their school tours, they call me. You know what I mean? And I'm so honored for every single opportunity I get to be on a school tour. Because it's a deal, imagine this. In one shot, you have an opportunity to stand before 1,000, 2,000 young people.
Yes.
We don't have a clue what seeds are sown. We don't know what harvest will be will be manifested later on. We don't know, but our job is to plant that seed. And
Yes.
so planting, I mean, sowing into the next generation like that is priceless for me. Priceless. Priceless. Trust me. And even now, there's a tour on the table. I can't say much, but there's a
Yes.
tour on the table. And we're hammering that out because we are going back out in the streets in a big way. So
Yes.
and there are times I've done some stuff with the Youth for Christ as well, out in the streets and at different events, Genesis, the concerts and so on. And it's always a pleasure working with Jamaica Youth for Christ. Dexter Johnson, the son of the director,
Yeah.
Dexter Johnson Sr.
Yeah.
The son, Dexter Johnson Jr., is was my band leader and my friend. You know, man, a great guy, great guy. It's always a pleasure working with him and the rest of the band. You know, yeah, man.
Yeah, yeah, that's really good. That's really good. I mean, it's always while you were talking, what dropped in my spirit is that no seed planted is germinated on the same day. So it's always a process. So you plant the seeds. You don't know. Maybe 20 years from now, a young man might walk up to you or a young lady to say, "You were at my school, and
Wow.
this is the product of it." So sometimes we might not see immediate results. Some we may see, but others may take a while. And the important thing that you said is we have to just keep
Yep.
planting those seeds, and they will eventually germinate. You were also, I know at some point you got involved in the movie industry. I put it that way. I think it was with Faye Ellington. So tell us a little bit about that experience, because sometimes God just opens up some various avenues of ministry, and
Mm.
also you can segue after that into your talk show, which is Crosstalk, and you've had some real serious topics on that show. So tell us about that movie experience, and also your show, and how long have you been doing Crosstalk on YouTube?
Yeah, boy, that movie experience was wow. It's unforgettable, is what I'd call it. I remember one day I just got a call from a friend who says, "Hey, you know, I know of this short film that some people will be doing, and they need a male character, and you could audition." I said, "All
Hmm.
right, no problem." I thought it was very novel.
Yeah.
And Faye Ellington, one of Jamaica's finest actresses, was the director of it. And so I auditioned, and I landed the part. Landed one of the parts, and the process was, man, it was almost like a dream come true because Dale, I don't know. I think I'm kind of, and I said this, I hope nobody don't misunderstand me. I think I'm wired for the stage. There's
Hmm.
something there's something that comes to life when I'm on a stage. And it's kind of weird because I'm also wired for behind the stage, because
Yes.
one of my spiritual gifting is administration. So I naturally organize processes, sequences, people, activities. I'm naturally inclined that way.
Yeah.
And so, but I mean, being on the stage, being in the set, being at the rehearsals, learning the parts, learning the script, learning my lines and the jokes, and the spontaneous things that happens that was not in the script, but yeah, it works.
Hmm.
That whole experience was so rich. The camaraderie that developed among the cast and the crew, on this on the day of the shot, showing up with the wardrobe, getting the makeup on and the different sets. Wow, that was really, really, really a very rich experience, and I loved it every moment of it. And then to top it off, to sit and watch the premiere. Wow,
Yeah.
wow,
Yeah.
that was amazing. That was amazing. That was amazing. I think that the most valuable part of it for me, though, is the relationships built in the process. It's not like the entire cast. It's not like we keep in touch regularly, but when we do connect, it's like time did not pass. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
That's really good.
Yeah, so that was good. No, cross start. The second thing you asked about is is my live talk show that has been on my heart for some years. I mean, this is one of the things that I've had an idea to do for a very, very long time. And then it was in 2020, I got a vision of eternity deal. No,
Hmm.
I was not asleep. I was not dreaming. I
Yeah.
was not unconscious. I was wide awake. And to cut a very long story short, I entered into eternity, right? Can't explain. I can't describe that right now. I don't have time to describe that. But I
Yes.
literally entered into eternity and experienced it. Now, the striking thing about eternity, Dale, is that it's so vast that if you should gather all the wealth, all the riches of the entire universe, not just Earth. but the entire universe, it would be as small as a speck of dust particle. Since that vision, my life has not been the same. There are
Yes.
four things that changed for me. Time, don't see the same way. Relationships, resources, and opportunities, I no longer see those the same way. And so it's almost like life is weird for me now, because in this moment now, I'm online, I'm talking to you, you're talking to me, I'm hearing you, we're having this moment. It is precious. Why? Because you will not always have me to talk to, Dale. There
Definitely.
may come a time when you can only talk about, you remember when me did interview Mark, but he's no longer here. And so
Yeah.
I've learned to cherish the smallest things. Now, after I got that vision, I recognized that, I really don't know how much longer I have on earth. I don't know, all these opportunities that we have now, we don't know how long we have them. And so I just started hammering out all of the ideas that God put on my heart, to start hammering them out. And so one of the
Mhm.
first things I did was the talk show, Crosstalk. That was the following year though, because in the first year I focused mostly on recording for the new album coming up. And then the
Mhm.
following year, 2021, which was last year, I launched Crosstalk in May last year. So we just celebrated 1 year last
That's man.
month, and we did our season one closeout episode just on the gun, you know.
Wow.
And we have explored some what we'd call riveting topics, because one of the things, Dale, is that there are some things in church we don't talk about
Yes.
for whatever reason, for varied reasons. We don't talk about them, and it's not like, I'm not saying that I'm having crosstalk and talk about the stuff that church don't talk about because whatever. No, no, no. That's not the spirit in which I'm doing it. The spirit really is, let me use my platform to help the local church to explore some issues that we don't normally explore within the four walls. So it is
Definitely.
not a competition with the local church. It is more an auxiliary to the what the local church, because one kingdom is one ministry really. So
Right.
we have
Right.
looked at topics like pornography. We have looked at the whole issue of being black and beautiful. We've looked at
Mhm.
online school. We have looked at the whole matter of purpose and pursuing what you need to get done. We have looked
Yes.
at love in the context of marriage between a man and a woman, one man and one woman. We have looked at also, we have looked at abuse. We have spoken to three women who have been abused over and over. When you talk about being raped multiple times until they lose count, we talk
Wow.
about drug trafficking, being imprisoned, molested, all kinds of stuff, man. And people have been so blessed by these episodes because it's just real talk, you know.
Awesome, awesome. I mean, you spoke about hammering out all those things that you saw in the vision and from that encounter with God, and it's very important because it's all about living out your purpose. And
Mm,
I believe this would be an encouragement to several persons watching, those who will be hearing and seeing this broadcast at a later date, that it doesn't matter how dormant your situation is, there are gifts and talents and ministries within you that needs to come out. And even the show tonight is one of those testimonies as well. And this I would have to talk about this in a long interview. But just listening to you, I realize, so many times God talked to us in some different ways, and it's just for us to spur those into action. And trust me, even if you should pass, God forbid, at least you went into action. And that's what some of us don't have, is because God talks to us, but we're still sitting, not doing
mhm,
what He says. So that's amazing. That's amazing. I want to do a recap on last week, because you said something very profound last week that I've never even thought about. You said we men or people should learn to master self leadership, learn to lead self, then others. And as we talk about the topic of the month, the man, the vision on a mission, and the sub theme of men taking their rightful place in our society, as a man tell us or give us some words of advice in terms of how you would like to see men blossom into greatness for God, leading this generation, especially as we approach Father's Day, June 19th, Sunday, June 19th.
Mhm, mhm. Well, the first thing I'd encourage men to do is just to grow a beard like this.
Mine is there was very short.
Hey, Dale, you see, because my shirt is black, I can't see my
Yeah,
beard, right? I'm saying, but it's the first time I see my face without a beard in a long time. Yeah.
yeah,
Anyway,
yeah,
on a serious note, though, just going back to that statement that I made last week, Dale, that we have to learn to lead self first. That is so important, and I can't over exaggerate that, because to lead, to first of all, to lead people, you have to love people. You can't lead
yeah,
people you don't love, right? And you, in order to lead people effectively, you have to value them. And when you value people, you will add value to people. But you can't value people and love people if you don't value yourself and love yourself. It's going to
yeah,
be different. It's difficult. There are going to be a lot of loopholes in the process. And so learning to lead self first is super critical. Now, what does that look like, leading self? It really means practicing and developing and mastering self control, self care, self identity. You know, it's very important. At the core of my message as an artist, Dale, is to discover God, discover self, and discover purpose. And from my own life's experience, I've realized the value of those three. I call them the three most fundamental discoveries of the
yeah,
human experience. Because if I'm going to lead others, I first need to understand self. I mean, at least to some extent, I must understand who I am. And so that because you see, if you don't love yourself, you won't be patient with yourself. You'll be very critical of yourself. And if you
yeah,
are impatient and critical of yourself, you will be impatient and critical of others. And so you won't lead them well. So it's very important to lead self first. Very,
mhm,
very important to develop that. Outside of that, now, to lead people, and leadership here, just to make it clear, Dale, leadership here is not a title.
yeah,
Leadership is not a position. Leadership, if I should define what leadership is, I'd use just one word: influence. Once
mhm,
you influence somebody else, that's leadership. Leadership
leadership,
must not be confused with management, right? Management is just really making the best of a particular set of resources within a
yeah,
particular context. But leadership goes beyond that, because the way I would lead you, Dale, would be different from how I would lead Tom, because you have a different temperament from Tom. I can just
definitely.
say, yo, Dale, just deal with that for me, no man. It takes a long, Bridget, and you're fine, because you won't take offense to that. But to
Next man,
Tom now, I have to say, Tom, remember you and I agreed on this, so I just going to remember, just a gentle nudge. Remember that 12 o'clock coming up, and we need to get that done. You know what I mean? That's leadership. It's different.
yeah,
It's different.
yeah,
So for us to effectively take our rightful places in society, the matter of the three things I pointed out earlier becomes very, very necessary. Why do I say this? To take our rightful place in position, to take our rightful place in society, we first need to know our rightful place. That's the first thing. We
yeah,
need to know our rightful. In order to know our rightful place, we must have some sense of purpose, because placement is a subset of purpose. But for us to understand our purpose, we must discover first who we are, because it is out of who we are that we will discover why we are here, our purpose. But to discover self, Dale, we have to discover the one who manufactured us. We have
yeah,
to we have to discover God in order to discover ourselves. I like to use this example. of the iPhone 13 Pro Max Plus, right? When you look on an iPhone, I mean, arguably, the iPhone is the best phone on the planet, right? Arguably. I'm not pushing a brand here. I'm just
Yes.
saying arguably. I don't want an iPhone, by the way, just for the record.
That's not the ad. They can pay us for the ad.
So when you look at an iPhone, for example, iPhone is very hard to hack. The security is very high. The iPhone has multiple functions. The iPhone has a particular high quality in audio and visuals. And there are so many other features of the iPhone that really set it apart from its competition. The design, the sleekness of design, and so on and so on. When you look at an iPhone, in the same way you can look at any other product, you know. If you look at a Samsung, a Huawei, whatever. But when you just choose to use the iPhone as an example, when you look at the iPhone, you can see in the mind of Apple when you look at an iPhone, when you look at an iPod, when you look at any product of Apple, you can see into the mind of Apple. And so therefore, for you to understand the device itself, you have to understand why it was created, what's its function, what are the limitations. And the only way you can know the full story of that is to check the manufacturer by way of the manual, right?
Definitely.
The only way you can come into a good understanding of who you are, Dayle, is if you consult your manufacturer or consult the manual, which is the Bible. So this progression is very important. Even before we get into leadership, even before we get into influencing society, I must encourage men. We're talking about men here, masculine man, yeah? We encourage men to pursue discovery of God, not knowing of God, not knowing about God, but knowing Him, knowing Him. A thriving, flourishing relationship where we are moving from level to level, we're growing and increasing in our knowledge of Him, that personal relationship. Because out of that, then we'll start understanding ourselves. Dayle, the reason why I overcame low self-esteem, is because I recognized that I'm created in God's image and likeness. I mean, as I said, I'm born and grew a church, so I know Genesis 1 from my idea, my knee. But when I was 38 plus in 2017, the last quarter, and I'm not sure if I was reading the scripture or what, but when I came into a revelation that I am His image and likeness, I no longer felt like I need to compare myself with anybody. I no longer felt like I need to compete with anybody. I no longer felt inferior to anybody. I had a confidence that cannot be shaken. And so now I am able to do the things I need to get done with confidence and with speed and with impact, because I'm secured in who I am. I could only have been secured in who I am because I knew God, yeah? So now in pursuit purpose, I can now figure out where my place is in society. And one of my spaces in society is in media. Media meaning music, talk shows, presentations, content creation, and one of my places to be a voice in the society. And so no, I want to encourage all the men. For us to take our rightful places, we have to go through that process. Now, having gone through that, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that while you're on your journey of discoveries, that you should just sit down and don't do anything. No, because we are all on a journey. It doesn't matter what level you are at, you are still on a journey. We're all under construction. None of us are perfect. Now, it is very important for us to take our rightful place in society, because the influence of a man is significantly different from the influence of a woman. There's some research that shows that when a child gets saved in a household, the percentage chances of the rest of the family getting saved is small. I can't remember the figure, but it is small.
Right.
When the mother gets saved, the chances of the rest of the family getting saved is higher than that of the child. But when the father gets saved, the chance that the entire family getting saved is extremely high.
Right.
That's because influence of man is significant. And so we must understand that, Dale, that when we step out on the road, when we walk into our office, when we step into our business place, when we
Yeah.
take a microphone, it is tremendous influence that is being executed at that point. However long, however short, however large, however small, it doesn't matter. We influence people. And so if we don't carry good values, if we are not if we are not leading self properly, if we don't have a good sense of identity, if we don't have a sense of who God is and our surrender to Him, then our influence will be going down the wrong way because it doesn't matter who you are, you have influence. It doesn't
Yes.
matter where you are, you have influence. There is at least one person who is impacted by the way you live, the way you talk, the way you do what you do. And so, as a man, it's very, very important to have solid values because that now, when we take our quote unquote rightful places, be it in business, be it in faith-based organizations, be it in the arts, economics, politics, governance, media, whatever, when we take our rightful places, then we're carrying solid values into that space.
Wow, wow, so powerful. I like the fact that you put leadership not as a position but as influence. And even when you spoke about the percentage of or the likely chances of a man getting saved and the rest of his family following
Mhm.
the same step, it's a form of leadership. Because if
It
daddy
is.
is a Christian, daddy is going to church on a Sunday, if daddy is praying, if daddy is following Christ, then it's best if I try to do that. And that's really, really a good thing because I was mentioning a video to you before we went live of that which I saw recently. I didn't get to watch the full video, but just the intro of the video was alarming. And I'm not going to call the name of the country, but there's a Middle Eastern country that they said basically a lot of men in that country, because of the strictness of the country, they are seeking opportunities in other countries, say for study, but it's just a way of shirking or running away from their family or their manly responsibilities. And the surprising thing about it, when they go into those other countries, the USA and other countries, what they do is start other families, but the moment, or they start other relationships, let me correct that. But the moment that woman becomes pregnant, they start to run again. Tell us about, because I know I've seen this in Jamaica, I've seen this in the US, I've seen this all over the place. Share a word of encouragement to those men who are running away from their responsibilities. And I know fathers, my father, without, I mean, if it's in my deepest sleep, I have utmost respect for that man, Mr. Liebert. 11 children, and I'm sure it was difficult for the most part. But thank God, he and my mom stood, I mean, stayed together, and they stood the test of time. And if I have no ratings for no other man, big up to my daddy. A lot of men
Wow.
are not able to say that. A lot of men are not able to say that. But when I read the article, the YouTube video, it just stuck in my head that there's so much that as men we need to encourage other men. It's challenging to be a father. I am sure it is, but just talk to us a little bit about how you would feel about that and the encouragement you would give to men who are running from the burden of a family, running from the responsibilities of a family, and also the repercussions, because it's gonna continue as a cycle. Their sons might think it's okay to do it because daddy left me when I was 15. He didn't come back, so I'm not staying. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Again, you say, Dale, it goes back to a sense of identity. And
Yeah.
in the absence of the discovery of God, the discovery of self becomes difficult.
Yes.
And when there's an absence of understanding self, then purpose becomes very vague and obscure. And that
Yes.
plays out in behaviors like these because, you know, these men probably never had great fathers. Some of them may have great fathers, but they just developed some other paradigm, some other mindset that is counter to what the good example that they saw their father displayed. But
Yes.
more often than not, you find that when a father is dysfunctional, when a father has failed in big ways, then the impact on the children are devastating most times. And that's because father is father is almost like source. Father
Yes.
is almost like, I would liken a father to a mountain. I liken a father to a mountain because the father is the strength, is the security,
Yes.
is the almost like the plumb line for the family. It's the anchor for the family. When a man malfunctions in a day, in a household, when a man malfunctions, the woman is automatically going to malfunction, you know. When a man
Yes.
malfunctions, the children are going to automatically malfunction as well. Whether
Mhm.
or not they find back their ways later on, that's a different conversation. But
Yes.
children and women look to men for leadership, for
Yes.
support, for security, for direction. Um, and when I use the word discipline, I don't mean the word discipline in a derogatory way, but
Right.
really to set the culture. Women and children look to the men for the boundaries of culture, paradigm, mindset, modus operandi. What are the systems, rules, and laws and policies that govern this space? Women and
Yes.
children look to me naturally for that. And so when a man malfunctions and abandons his wife and children, abandons his family, that's a dysfunction. And the question that needs to be asked is why? Because each man malfunctions for different reasons. You'll have two
Yes.
brothers in a house, they eat the same food, they sleep in the same room, they have the same parents, they live together for how many years? And one of them takes on the bad habits of the father, and the other one is the complete opposite. Now, the what determines the outcome in each child, in each of the sons, really boils down to the spirit that is inside of them. Because
Yes.
you have men who grow up in the garrison and they grow up to be upstanding citizens of the country. And you have other
Yes.
men who grow up in the garrison who are bent on being criminals.
Hmm. That's true.
But, you understand me? But the scripture says that we should train up a child in the way he should grow so that when he gets older, he doesn't depart from it. The
Yes.
father's role is to ensure that the family is is on the right path at all times. The father is the manager, the father is also the leader of that house. Why did I use the word manager? It is not the woman's duty to wash plate, wash clothes, and cook. That's not the woman's duty. That's not why a woman is in a house.
Yes.
But most times the woman does a better job than the man. And so technically what happens is that the man really delegates those responsibilities to the woman because she is naturally better at it. Because there are
Yes.
many households where the man is the one who washes the clothes. There are many
Yes.
households where the man is the one who irons the clothes. There are many households where the man is the chef. He's the one who cooks all the time because he's
Yes.
better at it. But the
Yes.
management, I just want to make sure I clarify why I use the word manager. The man
Yes.
is the manager of the house because the man determines what is, and of course, he determines it with his wife, what is the best way to run the house. Who is better at this role and this function than the other, you know? But the man now is the leader because he influences the culture of the household. When a
Yes.
father is abusive, the household is abusive. The
Yes.
children are abused. Some of the children go to school act out by fighting. You understand me? And so now we recognize that the role of a man in the house is significant, because when a man impacts a house, then collectively those houses impact the community, collectively those communities impact the nation, and collectively those nations impact the world. And so
Yes.
when you find a man who gets a job elsewhere and run off and leave him family, he's malfunctioning. What do I have to
Yes.
say to a man like that? I would call him, I would do a recall, just like if Honda understands that the transmission on all Honda fits 2013 to 2015 naturally start going bad after 6 months. They do a recall of
Yeah.
those vehicles. I would suggest to men like these that they need a recall. They need to come back to the factory. They need to come back to discovering God so they can discover self, so that they can discover purpose. Then they'll be able to take their rightful places. So my encouragement, and I say this with all love and all respect, is
Yes.
not that they are bad people. It's not that they are less than. It's not that they are inferior. They are just broken, and that's why they are malfunctioning. And all of us are broken. And let me be very quick to say that we
Yeah.
all malfunction in different areas of our lives to different degrees that manifest in different ways. And every malfunction requires a recall. So that's my encouragement.
Wow, wow, so powerful, powerful. They need to come back to the factory, the source, and
Mhm.
discover self, discover God, discover purpose. Just so awesome. I want to big up a few persons who have joined on the Instagram platforms. Combino, Chris Nadine Evans, my niece. Thank you so much, Combino 560. Thank you so much, Short Boss. Thank you so much, sir, for joining as well. Sir Nigel, Nikisha Smith, thank you so much for joining. Also, we have Zluge on the platform, and Zluge is one of those networks I want to tell you about. It's an app that you can find gigs if you're a musician, you're a host, you work in the entertainment industry. You can find gigs on Zluge, Zluge. Find them on Instagram, like, and just check out their pages, and you can find really good content on that page. And also from Zluge, we'll be telling you some more about a new app as well that's being developed by the same company, and we'll be telling you a lot more about that. But trust me, there's so much happening. And for Father's Day, I'm really happy to have you on the show, Mark, because trust me, you have been saying some really powerful things, and I'm hoping the hope for us for this month and for the show is that men will be encouraged to do better. I mean, and I said it the other day, it doesn't matter how good you think you are doing, there's always room for improvement. There's something that I need to know to do better. There's something that you need to do better. And I would always remember this part: leadership is viewed as influence, not as a position. And if you can discover self, discover God, then discover purpose, then you will do much better at what you do. Mark has some remarkable music, and for Father's Day, I'm going to just be sharing a little clip of a new single that he will be releasing. I wanted to check this out. And before the end of the show, we're going to ask Minister Mark to share one or two songs from his album, and also he has an upcoming album that he'll be sharing with the world in a few months. But so much that we can get from this one interview, and this minister is really awesome. Let's check out this new single from Mark.
Hold me face to face, keep me in your grace so deep. I just cannot find the surface. No other place on earth than in your presence I will find identity and purpose.
So awesome, so awesome. One more.
Hold me face to face, keep me in your grace so deep. I just cannot find the surface. No other place on earth than in your presence I will find identity and purpose.
Ah, Mark, so awesome. The song is entitled My All, and it's going to be released on June 19th for Father's Day. This is so profound. This is so profound. Tell us a little bit about this track, and also you spoke about finding identity and purpose in the few lines that I've heard. Tell us a little bit about this track and what can we expect from the full song. All right, I think we're having a little bit of glitch on Mark's side, but that was My All from Minister Mark Johnson. All right, you're back with us. Tell us a little bit about that track, My All, and it's going to be released on June 19th for Father's Day. Give us a background of the track and what can we expect.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, yeah, I can hear you now.
Can you hear me now, right?
Yes, yes.
Can you hear me? Okay. Right.
Yes, go ahead.
This is the very, very first song called The Softer Side of Mark, right?
Yes.
So far, I mean, to date, released only. It's going, bro.
Yes, it's going in. All right, so let me just take you off the stream and just rejoin. That should be able to fix the little issue. But let's just listen a little preview
Hold me
of the song.
face to face, keep me in your grace so deep. I just cannot find the surface. No other place on earth than in your presence I will find identity and purpose.
All right, so this song is called My All. It will be released on June 19th for Father's Day, song by Minister Mark Johnson. And as we spoke just now, that this is the softer side of his ministry where we talk to men and men taking the rightful place. No other place I'll find identity and purpose than in God. And that's so awesome, that's so powerful. If you want to type anything in the chat, you want to send a greeting to your father or to anyone you want to send a greeting to, feel free to send it in the chat either on Instagram or Facebook, YouTube. You just choose which platform you want to send a greeting to your father for next Sunday. And if there's anything profound that you want to say or mention about your dad or any man that you consider to be a good role model of a father, feel free to share. It's just a few days away, and we have other shows coming up in the month of June in celebration of fathers. We're going to be having a wonderful guest on Monday. We're going to be having another on Friday. And we're hoping to have a discussion centered around the topic of men taking their rightful place in our society. So we hope that you'll be able to uh, be a part of the show as we continue to spread the word for the month of June in Father's Day, which is coming up on the 19th of June. And we want to celebrate fathers. So as we await Minister Mark Johnson to rejoin us, he was having some problems with the internet. So guess what? We are just going to do this until he comes back because we are going to be taking a live performance from Minister Mark Johnson as he talks about his music. He has an upcoming album. We're going to be taking that. So stay tuned as he rejoins us once this issue is resolved. And it's really, really powerful. So we were talking also about the video, and you can find this video on YouTube and several other videos as well, where some men in a specific Middle Eastern country, I won't call the name, but they have been running away from the country, from what the video said, seeking basically a better life, a life where they can be more, have more freedom, have other relationships outside of their culture and religion. But the problem is, once those women gets pregnant, the number one problem is they're leaving their families back home. So their children are being raised without a father. And when they go in these other countries, they start new relationships. The moment these women become pregnant, they are running away again. And that's just one of those things that's really troubling because we see a lot of men in other parts of the world doing similar things where they are running away from their responsibility. So we were encouraged by Minister Mark Johnson as he rejoins us now on being able to discover self, discover God, and discover purpose. And that's such an awesome thing. The song is called My All, and that song will be released on June 19 in honor of Men and Father's Day. And that's really so awesome. If you are able to uh, send a greeting for your father, if you're able to, you may be an uncle in your family, might be some man in the community that's really outstanding and you want to hear them up, feel free to send that in the chat and so we can highlight them and just let them know that we appreciate them being the person they are, because it's so awesome. So as we continue, find Minister Mark Johnson, Marq, not a K, Marq Johnson, and you can find him on Instagram, you can find him on YouTube, you can find him on Facebook. Also, he has a show called Crosstalk. You can find that show as well on YouTube. And trust me, you're going to find some topics that is really, really interesting, and you can learn a lot from it. As well, I want to use this opportunity to share awesome music show nominated. This was a great surprise for us at the Awesome Music Show. So arisemusic.com/vote ABGMA category media. Choose option 2 for best radio show entertainment. So the voting for this continues through the month of June and July, right up to the 31st of July. I want you to help us to win this award. And it's an encouragement that we are continuing to do what we do best, and that's to host the show on a weekly basis, 2, 3 times a week. We're doing this show, and we want your support as well. We want you to be so help us to get this award. You can vote several times per day. I mean, I have known people who are voting. People are texting me to remind me to vote. I want to big up Christine and family, her mom, for supporting, and all those who have been voting. My wife has been voting, several other persons. So the link is So Arise, SOARISE music.com. You can write it down /vote ABGMA. And once you click on that, click on vote now, and the category is media. And then you scroll down to option 2, which is best radio show entertainment. There you will find the Awesome Music Show hosted by Dayle Thompson. And just click vote. Vote several times. Every time you remember, just keep voting all the way up to the 31st of July. And we will continue to do what we do best. Never thought of getting a nomination anytime soon, but God knows what He is doing, and we are really, really appreciative of that. So continue to vote for the Awesome Music Show on this award. This award show is hosted by Minister Apostle Stanshar Cornelius in Antigua and Barbuda, and this show is going on for a couple of years, and we want you to be a part of it. So welcome back to the show, Minister Mark Johnson. Thank you so much. I was asking you earlier to tell us a little bit about this song, My All, and really respect the move for you to do this song in honor of fathers and releasing it on Father's Day. Tell us about that, and then you can just give us your closing words for encouragement to all the viewers, and you can share any of the media links that you want to share, and then I'll just introduce you for the final time, as you will be doing a live performance for us. So go ahead and do all that for us.
Yes, so this song is Dayle is actually the very, very first song from what I call the softer side of Marq. Because you know, the world knows me as the hardcore dancehall reggae artist, right?
Yes,
And it was a few years ago, the Lord said to me that, you know, the softer song, because as a matter of fact, I started out writing soft songs in a deal. That's where I
yes,
actually started, but nobody knows that, you know.
yes,
So I started writing soft songs, but somehow the reggae and the dancehall genres, those were the ones that got out, and they just kept going, one after the
yes,
other.
yes,
So this is the very first of the softer side of Marq. It's a love song to God, you know, that's expressing that He is my all, my everything. He is a real father, dear, a
mhm,
real father. God is patient. God is loving. He is faithful. He stands up to his responsibilities. He doesn't make
yes.
me feel less. Even when I mess up, he doesn't make me feel less than. He doesn't make me feel condemned. You know what I mean? And God is just amazing. And so, this Father, yeah, I want.
All right, we're losing a little bit of signal from Minister Mark Johnson there on his side, but this song is the softer side of Minister Mark Johnson, and we really, really want to see the release of this song. Find him on YouTube and click on the notification bell so that once his song is released and any other music, then you will be able to get the notification. Also, for the Awesome Music Show, you guys have been subscribing to the channel, and we are just a little bit past the 250 mark. Yes, a lot of people might say 250, that's not a lot of subscribers, but a lot of work has been put into this. So thanks to all those who have been subscribing, you've been sharing to your family and your friends. We're now a little over 250. Last time I checked was about 251. And thank you so much for supporting the Awesome Music Show. So find the page, like, share, subscribe, and as we always say, click on that notification bell, because once we go live with other shows, you will be one of the first to be notified. Go ahead, Mr. Johnson, to talk about your song and also your final words of encouragement to those who are joining us tonight. All right, all right. You see, sometimes it's so awesome that we are going so well with the interview, and then all of a sudden the internet starts to give some problems here. But we know that Minister Mark Johnson has really, really awesome music. He has been doing school tours, Imago Day tour, that's the Image of God tour, and trust me, the the stories and the testimonies from that tour has been awesome. He has been going to several schools. He has been working with Jamaica Youth for Christ. He has been a part of a short film, and also he has been doing his own productions. He's a musician. He plays the keyboard very well, and he has been doing so many wonderful things in ministry. So we want you to support the ministry of Minister Mark Johnson, because he is really, really doing a lot. Let me know if you can hear us. No, Sir Johnson. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Great, great. So let me go quick before the signal drop again, right? So
Yes, yes,
so
yes.
this is the first of the song, and it's really just a love song just to the Father of Fathers. So, you know, just to declare that He is my all, He's my everything. But the final encouragement for those who are watching, you know, is to press into the direction of discovering God, discovering self, and discovering purpose. You know, especially for the men who are listening, and for those of you females who are listening, to be good if you could pass on this message to the men in your lives, whether it's your husband, your son, your nephew, your uncle, your father, your grandfather, a brethren, co-worker, whatever. That it's very important, because you see, Dale, when we take our rightful places and when we are functioning well, women and children benefit. Them all right, everything good. So, but when
Yeah.
we malfunction, everything around us deteriorates. So my encouragement is, men, when we have a situation that needs to come under control, let us do a recall. I could do a recall. Let us go back to the King, the Father of fathers, and seek him some more, so that the more we discover of him, it changes our perception of self. When we understand more of who we are, then we can function better, whether in the home, in society, wherever we are. Yeah. So this song now this is also in addition to that soft song. I'll be releasing Father's Day. I'm also releasing a song entitled Daddy, and it just declares like Mama Daddy. So I want you to sing along. The chorus is very easy, right where you are. Just sing along, and I could just enjoy vibes together.
Yo,
so,
bad box.
Daddy, mommy, daddy, daddy,
Daddy, mommy, daddy.
You never know. Because the banners and the start dialing. Ask Father God that will make him adapt me. Now me turn one of the king fit me. There you know see. Boom. Daddy, mommy, daddy. I will tell everybody, daddy, mommy, daddy. Daddy, mommy, daddy. I will tell everybody, daddy, mommy, daddy. Daddy, mommy, daddy. I will tell everybody, daddy, mommy, daddy. Daddy, mommy, daddy. I will tell everybody, daddy, mommy, daddy. When me want nothing, me go call him. Cash in a middle of the month, call him. Mountain salary short, me still a call him. Daddy said me to call him. No credit, but signal it a send. Me not need no flow, no digit set. We can't pass money there and the card that it a spend. Louder than 50 yen. Daddy, mommy, daddy. I have to tell everybody, daddy, mommy, daddy. Daddy, mommy, daddy. I have to tell everybody, daddy, mommy, daddy. We say, daddy, mommy, daddy. I have to tell everybody, daddy, mommy, daddy. Daddy, mommy, daddy. I have to tell everybody, daddy, mommy, daddy. When you want on, when I got beat me, then just believe in your heart and vessel, like say, surrender all your life to the kingdom. Transformation, it will start to begin. Proof 1, 2, 3, A, B, C. Jesus said, repeat your king. Everybody, me one day, will I want to agree. If God are the devil, are you daddy? Boom! Say, daddy, mommy, daddy. I will tell everybody, daddy, mommy, daddy. Daddy, mommy, daddy. I will tell everybody, daddy, mommy, daddy. Me say, daddy, mommy, daddy. I will tell everybody, daddy, mommy, daddy. Daddy, mommy, daddy. I will tell everybody, daddy, mommy, daddy.
If you know, say, daddy, my daddy, drop something in the comments, in the chat somewhere. Put some fire beside it. Back to the chorus. Boom.
Daddy, mommy, daddy. I will tell everybody, daddy, mommy, daddy. Daddy, mommy, daddy. I will tell everybody, daddy, mommy, daddy.
I say, daddy, mommy, daddy. I will tell everybody, daddy, mommy, daddy.
Daddy, mommy, daddy. I will tell
your verses now.
when you want nothing, you fi call him. Cash in a middle of the month, call him. Mountain salary short, you fi go call him. Daddy say you fi call him. Alright, no credit, but signal it a send. You no need no flow, no digit set. We can't pass money for your card and it a spend. Louder than 50 yen. Daddy, mommy, daddy. I will tell everybody, daddy, mommy, daddy. Daddy, mommy, daddy. I will tell everybody, daddy, mommy, daddy.
Yeah.
Awesome. Bless you,
Give thanks.
sir, for that song. It's really, really an encouragement. I mean, we have to take the music in several different ways, several different styles of delivery, and I'm sure I can just imagine someone just bouncing down the highway or in the traffic. Got him on me, daddy. Got him on me, daddy. So that's really good. We're looking forward to these two tracks, God Ahmed Daddy, if that's the correct name, you can correct me, and also My All. These will be released, and trust me, I'm really looking forward to these songs and to support your ministry as well. It's been my pleasure to have you on the show, Sir Marq. I know it's been a long-waited show. I pursued you for months so that we could get this show, and I really want to tell you publicly, we had the show last week. We were having some internet challenges, and we decided to do the show again. Not many people will do that. I want to tell you from the Awesome Music family, a very, very big thank you, and appreciate it, so that we could at least, this is something that's off the charts. No, I can allow you to do your music, and I'm sure the Awesome Music Show is always your show. Whenever you're doing anything new and you want to bring some spotlight to it, feel free to reach out and we can have you on. All the best with your talk show, Crosstalk. For those who have not seen this show, check out Crosstalk on YouTube. I believe it's on your page, Mark Johnson page, and you can find some really, really good discussions on that show. And discussions, as he said, that's not counteracting what the church is doing. It's just an auxiliary to it to support topics that are not normally discussed within the four walls. So you need to check that out and also support his page, support his music. Look out for new music coming. Sir Mark, just before you go, just close with a word of prayer for all those who are joining, who have joined us tonight, and also just commit men to God for Father's Day as we close out on the show tonight. Go ahead.
Definitely. Definitely. Father, we honor you, Lord. We glorify and we magnify you, God, because we recognize that you are King of kings, Lord of lords. Not only are you high and lifted up and exalted, God, but you are so faithful, you're so gentle, you're so kind, you are so patient. Lord, you're such an amazing Father. And we just want to thank you now, Lord, for this, the way you have loved us over the years, the way you have walked with us even through our mess, our blunders, our mistakes, our errors. Father, even during the times when we have been presumptuous, Lord, presumptuously dishonoring your name, Lord, even in those times, Lord, you stood by us, you never forsook us, Lord. And we thank you for that kind of love, the kind of love that just remains. And so,
Yeah.
now I want to just pronounce a blessing on everybody who has joined tonight, on every single individual, every single household, on every single family, every single territory represented. I command a blessing on them in the name of Jesus. I declare over their lives that the eyes of their hearts and eyes of their understanding will be enlightened so that they will see the height and the breadth and the length and the depth of your love for them. I pray that they will understand that absolutely nothing, Lord, can separate them from your love. So, God, it doesn't matter what they're going through, you are with them. I pray that you'll cause them to recognize your footsteps in the sand. That when them see the one set of footprints and feel like them a walk alone, that it's your footprints and you are carrying them. Father, you carry us. You carry us. What a Father you are. We thank you that you carry us. And so, God, I pray that everybody on this live, everybody on this rebroadcast, everybody that is watching, Father, that you will open their eyes to see and to recognize you in their situation. Father, I commit our men to you, our fathers, our brothers, our uncles, our sons, our grandfathers, our male co-workers, our male business partners, all the men around us, Lord. I commit each of them to you, and I pray, Lord, that they will come into a discovery of God, of you, a discovery of themselves, a discovery of purpose. And that, Lord, they will understand that there is a requirement on every one of us to fulfill the purpose for which you have called, designed, and created us, Lord. And so, like in St. Matthew 25:14-30, Lord, the parable of the talents, may the men in this world recognize that one day you will return for the return on investment that you have given unto us. Everything that you have given us, our strengths, our abilities, our capabilities, our wiring, our expertise, our experiences, Lord, you expect us, Lord, to multiply it and bring a harvest. Father, may our men recognize the weight of responsibility that we carry. And so, God, as we surrender to your authority, as we understand how to lead ourselves, then we'll be able, God, to love others, to add value to others, and lead them well. I pronounce a blessing on Father's Day. I pray that our fathers across this world will feel special and that they will come into an awakening awareness of their rightful place in you and in the earth. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Amen. So powerful. So powerful. I want to thank you so much, Sir Mark, for being with us So much. We have gone way over an hour, but time flies when you're doing something great for God, and that's really, really awesome. So I want to pronounce a blessing on your ministry, on your music, on all the upcoming projects that you're working on, and also on your family. And enough respect, big up, and thank you for being on the show. It's really a pleasure having you, and you have been an encouragement. And just before you go, I need to let you know you're one of those persons who encouraged me in the first year. I remember when I reached out to you last year, you made a statement to me. I won't repeat the statement, but that statement has added some fuel to what I'm doing here. So just to let you know, and I'm saying
Wow.
that publicly, so really, really, really awesome, really, really awesome to have you on. So be blessed, my brother, and we'll keep the link definitely. And all the best to you as you go. And for that song, yeah, God Imam Daddy, big up, big up, big up, big up, big up, big
Thank you.
up.
Thank you. And blessings multiplied back to you, my brother. Blessings.
Yes, yes, man. Blessings. Take care, bro. Take care. Take
Man,
care. All the
take
best.
care. Take care.
All the best.
Bye, everybody.
All right, blessings. All right, so Caribbean Christian 0127, thank you so much for joining as well and for sharing. We were talking to Minister Mark Johnson. He is a recording artist, a musician. He's a songwriter, producer. He's also in the movies, and trust me, so much that's happening with Minister Mark Johnson. A new song that he will be releasing on Sunday is called My All, and that is just showing that God, he is the number one father, number one daddy. So as I go tonight, I want you to just share those details with your family, your friends, this extended show. We are happy that you could have joined us and you could have been on here with us. So before I go, I just want to share one more time. Vote for the Awesome Music Show on the ABGMA Awards 2022. I think that the award show will be in November, but voting closes in July. So you have a month and some days to vote and vote for this show, Awesome Music Show. No idea this was coming, but to be nominated is an honor. We do this because God has allowed us to do this show week after week, month after month, second year of broadcasting, and we are thankful that God has allowed us to do this show. So join the voting family, and I'm going to be giving you the instructions to vote. You go on soarisemusic.com, and that's where you will find all the information for the vote. Rise Music slash vote ABGMA. Vote ABGMA category 2. And once you go on to category 2, that's a media category, the option 2, the Awesome Show, and that's where you will find, and you can feel free to vote multiple times every single day, several times per day, right up to the end of July 31. We crave your support. Remind families to vote as well. Even if you vote once, we really appreciate, because every vote adds up. And even if I do not get that award for this show, or we don't get the award for this show, just to be nominated alone is a blessing, and we thank you for your support. See you on Monday, 12 midday Jamaica time, for another awesome word of the week. And then on Friday, we're going to be having another special guest on the show. So we want you to be a part of that. Thank you so much for joining tonight, for sharing. And as always, it's another awesome day given to us by an awesome God to do some awesome things. We will tell the fathers Happy Father's Day at the next show that we're going to be having, so that you can be a part of it. So be blessed tonight as we go. Take care. My name is Dayle. See you on Monday. God bless you, and peace, peace, peace. As always, take care. Thank you so much. Take care. Have a great